I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-magab, it's time for the only news that matters. And Yngwie Malmsteen noted how he's never been the one for songwriting partnership and claimed how the singers he worked with started thinking they were Tom Jones, Elvis Presley or something, which only strengthened his decision to work solo. The Swedish electric guitar playing sensation has experienced a lot over the course of his 40-year-long career. Yngwie eventually settled for the latter in what he says is the desire to have complete command over his creative vision. A painter doesn't call somebody up and say, "Hey, can you come over and finish this painting for me?" The guitarist recently told Brave Words with a laugh while commenting on how he's grown progressively more comfortable with stepping behind the mic over the past decade or so. And while Yngwie acknowledges there were some great singer-guitar relationship in his rock history, he is at peace with the fact that his path turned out differently. He said, for instance, one of my favorite bands in the whole world is Rolling Stones. You have Jagger and Richards. You have Van Halen, Roth. You have Page, Plant, Blackmore, and Gillan, and whatever. You always have these guys that work together, and that's beautiful. I love all those guys. I never felt good about that. I almost had a perfectly clear vision and pictures in my head completed. So I write all the parts. I write all the musical instruments. I even compose a symphony, like a complete suite for a full orchestra. I wrote all the parts. As for why he never established a deeper bond with one particular vocalist in his solo career, Yngwie said, "When I hired singers, they started thinking they were Tom Jones, Elvis Presley or something. It just never failed. They can't behave as another musician for some reason. So that was one of the reasons too. It was more of a smart personality problem when they started thinking, not realizing what their function was. You know what I'm saying? That's when it all fell apart. Not so much what they performed because it was usually pretty good. But I don't dwell on things like that. I just do what I do, and I feel strongly about my creation." So there you go. I miss some awesome singers in Yngwie's band. And I know a lot of people don't like him. Man, I've had the strange fortune to bump into Yngwie down here in Miami because he lives here. I bumped into him at Bal Harbor Shops. I bumped into him at a gas station. I bumped into him at a grocery store. And every time I bumped into Yngwie, he was always very nice to me. I didn't really bother him much, but I acknowledged his existence. And I told him a couple things I liked of what he did. And he was always nice. And I'm the kind of guy, I don't bother somebody. I just do this little small talk and say, "Great meeting you, Yngwie," or "Have a good day, Yngwie," and walk away, And he was always nice and courteous. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not around a lot of fans and I'm just alone on a one-on-one situation. I don't know. All I know, he's very nice to me, and I've heard nightmares, but I've never experienced any nightmare with Yngwie. And there was even, I think I told the story before, there was even a time where Yngwie was my bartender because he was playing some Battle of the Bands, and I went with some friends, and he was playing between Battle of the Bands and stuff, and this woman comes up to us, and because the Battle of the Bands were all rap acts, and we're there with long hair, concert shirts. So a woman comes up to us and say, "Oh, are you guys here for Yngwie?" Yeah, he goes, "Come on, I'll have you meet him." Turned out this girl was his manager. Wasn't his wife. I think his wife is his manager now. But anyway, she took us upstairs, and there's Yngwie behind a bar. And he told us all right, what do you all want? He actually served us drinks. It was awesome. Anyway, but, I guess either Yngwie sees problems in all the singers that he's had, or all the singers he had a problem with Yngwie. I don't know. All I know is that I'm going to go see him with Glenn Hughes soon. I'm dying to see Glenn Hughes, but I'm sticking around for Yngwie. I've seen Yngwie, so many times. He's played down here a trillion times, and I love Yngwie, and his son is awesome too. Very talented. I saw his son play at a club, and he didn't play like Yngwie, but he kicked ass. He shredded. He was awesome, man. Antonio Malmsteen. And I'm going to leave you with this really funny Yngwie story. There's a guy down here called Mariano J. Brasish, who's pretty much an Yngwie clone. The guy plays exactly like Yngwie. And I would always go see him on Tuesday nights at this Churchill's, this place Churchill's. He would always be there. It was Mariano J. Brasish's Final Symphony. That was the name of the band. Anyway, he was telling me a story that he went to Yngwie's house with his friend, and his friend had a guitar for him to sign, for Yngwie to sign. So they waited around Yngwie's house, and finally Yngwie drives in his Ferrari. And I've seen, that's another thing, I've seen Yngwie drive around too. He has the roof down, and he's dressed like he does on stage with the black shirt opened up. Anyway, so Yngwie comes, and Mariano, Yngwie, can you sign my friend's guitar? And Yngwie signed it, but it was a Les Paul. And Yngwie, all that Yngwie signed on the guitar was play Fender. He didn't write his name or nothing. He just played play Fender. And they didn't notice he wrote that till he walked in the house, and they walked away, and they looked at it in the car, and they're like, what? That's my little funny Yngwie story that Mariano J. Brasish told me. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Click that little notification bell, and please like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. And I want you to stay frosty. I want you to listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston, and so never more shall we see you again.